Hi everyone, how you doing today? I just finished a video and I will link it at the end of this video where I did a Valentine card with the Cricut Joy, and it called for foil, except it really didn't use foil, it used the pen. But long story short, so now I'm going to do one with foil, but this time we're going to design our own card instead of using the insert cards that are pre-designed in Cricut Design Space, because you can't edit them at all. So I thought, since I'm going to do a foil one, why don't I do two things, foil and designing our own. So you need your Cricut Joy, some insert cards, or make your own. I'm using the 4.5 by 6.25 cards. You're going to need your card mat, and you're going to need your foil transfer tool kit. The kit has the tool, some foil, and the tape that you need. So those are the things you'll need. And let me get my stuff together here. So I just need the mat. And remember, you take this out of the little bag, the clear bag, you still have a clear sheet just like any other mat on it, so don't forget about that. So I'm going to set mine aside. I'm going to just go ahead and put my card in. So if you're not sure, if you're not aware, the mat, do you see how it opens up? This clear part is the actual cutting mat. So the back of the card goes underneath so you don't cut through the card. And make sure when you put the card in, there's 3 sizes, put it all the way in, and make sure it's all the way up, because I wasn't quite all the way up on one card. So when it did the little cutouts for the corners, I was hanging off the edge. So I want to make sure that I push it up really well. And then go ahead and get that ready. And I will have my, I'm going to use some gold foil, and here's my tape. So I've got everything ready, and we'll do the taping when it comes time to foil. I've got my foil too right here. And now we're going to go over to Cricut Design Space. Okay, so we're in Cricut Design Space. I have selected up in the top right the Joy, so you have all the machines. But since I'm using the insert card mat, that's only for the Joy. So I'm going to make sure I pick the Joy, which I already have. I guess, oh, there we go. And I'm going to go ahead and click on New Project. And I guess I must have had a practice one going there. So I'm in my canvas space, and the first thing I want is to get the insert card for the 4 corners to put my back insert in. I was hesitating a moment because I was looking for my card. So let me just switch back for a second. So here's the last card I made, and what I'm talking about is the 4 corners. And then we'll design what's in the middle. But I need some kind of 4 corners. That's where the insert goes behind the card to give you the color. And you can make your own insert. There's different colors of inserts. But we need 4 corners first. So let's switch back. So to get some choices of the 4 corners, we're not going to go to projects on the left. We're going to go to images. So you can see I'm over on the left. I'm going to click on images. And in the search, I'm going to put, let me see, insert card. I couldn't remember if it's card insert or insert card. So we'll find out. And I swear every time I record, there we go. So here's some results, and they have free ones and they have subscribed ones. So, and you're going to notice that there's going to be more than one size. So I'm going to use this. I'm on the right hand side. I want to use this little dot one. So if I come to where these three dots are and I click on it, I can see it has a number and it's insert card corner cuts with dots. And I'm gonna go ahead and you have to click off of that. I'll click on the X and bring it back. I'm gonna click on it and I'm gonna add it to the canvas because I wanna show you something. So I'm just gonna move this over out of the way. I'm gonna go back to images, so I'm on the left. And it should take me back to the same place. So I'm going to scroll down because I already picked this one with the dots. So I'm going to take this next one down. And if I go where the three dots are, this time it says A6. Okay? So we're going to click on that one, add that to the canvas because I just want you to see the differences. And then you can like write down a little cheat sheet. So that's the next one in. Let me move these over. I'm going to go back out again to images. So this one had no number. This was A6. So let's get the last one because there's three sizes of cards. Well, if I can find the last one, why wouldn't they have them all together? All right, they have some that you can work on. All right, where's our... Okay, so I'm going to come into, because I'm not finding the third one. I know there's three. 1, 2. Okay, if I click on one of the ones with the dots, and let's see, how did I find this the last time? I clicked on where the dots, so I clicked on where these three dots are, and then it says View Image Sets, and I clicked on that. And so these, and I guess there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If I click on the one with the dots, now here's 1, here's 2, and here's the third one here. So let's look. So that was the one with no A size. This was the A6. You see it right here. And then this one down here, if I click on it, it's A1. So I'm going to go ahead and select that one, add it to the canvas. So now you can see, oh, well, that's a double one. Let's do that again. So let's X that and go back to the images. That was kind of funny. Unless I had two selected and didn't realize it. Select this one again, add to canvas. There we go. So this is A1, I believe. So this is the smallest size card. This is the biggest size, and this is the middle size. So you can see, pick which one you want to work with. If you're going to work with them a few times and you are going to use different sizes, say this one with the little dots is your favorite, you have to pardon the beeping there in the back, the truck backing up. Excuse me. So if you're going to use these a lot, then go ahead and save them. I'm just going to click on the ones because I'm doing the biggest card. So I'm going to go ahead and click and delete, and I use my delete key on my keyboard. So now I have the 4.25 by 6. And if I look at my cards, and let me switch us back for a second. If I look on my card at the top, the card is 4.5 by 6.2. The insert is 4.25 by 6. And that's the same size as the corners that I have. So you can double check that way. So let's go back to our design space. So we're back in our design space. We have our four corners, excuse me, where our insert card goes in. So now we have to get an image for the center. So we're going to go on the left, click image on the images, and excuse me, we need to take out where we had insert cards and just delete that and hit the search, because that takes us back to all of the images. If we had searched in where we were, we would have just been searching within the insert cards. So we're going to put Valentine and search. And we're looking for something that we can use that we can foil, which would be like, it would look like pen writing. And we want something to cut out so that we can put our insert behind it. So let's just look down through these. So this one would work. Now, if we look at the one on the right, that's great if you are just foiling, and that's fine. But since we're doing an insert card and we're putting an insert in it, we need to have something cut out. So I think on this Happy Valentine's Day, that we can foil most of the stars, cut out the big star, cut out the happy and the day, and then foil the banner and cut out the Valentine. So let's select that one. And we're going to come down to the bottom right, add to canvas. And we're going to bring it over into our center of our four corners. And I think I want this to be a little taller, so I'm going to bring it down first. And right now, if I look right here on the bottom right, you see I have just the two arrows. And what that means is it's going to proportionally make this bigger. Well, I don't want to proportionally make it bigger. I want it taller, but not wider. As a matter of fact, the width is 4.407. So let me show you how that works if it's proportional. I'm going to come up to the top right here where the size is, and I want the width to be 4. So I'm just going to click on the little arrow, and you'll notice that when I did the width, the height changed. Well, again, I want it taller. So I'm going to click on the little padlock right here, and that hopefully unlocks it. And you'll know it's unlocked if you come down to this right-hand side. And remember how we had an arrow just on one angle, 2 arrows. Well, now we have 4. So that means I can go in any direction I want. So I'm going to, didn't mean to do that. So I'm going to come up to my height, and I'm going to do, let's say, 4.25. And I'm going to tab or hit enter, either one. And let's see if that's about the height I want. Now I want it a little taller. So I'm going to, let me see. I'll come up, and I'm clicking right on the 4 arrows, except I'm coming straight down. And now it changed my width, and it shouldn't have because I'm not padlocked. So I'm going to fix this width again to 4, and I'm just going to use let's just do it this way. I'll highlight the whole thing and then just hit the 4 and tab. And now I'm 4 wide and 4, let's see if I want to be 4.75 tall. I think I want to be 4.5. So I put in the 4.5, and then I hit my tab. And let's check that. And what I'm looking at is I'm looking at where the dots are here. Now, we have the ability to center, but sometimes centering by the computer it doesn't look right to the eyeball. So let's see how that does. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab both shapes, and if we look over here on the right, both of them are a darker gray. I'm going to come back over to the top where the line is, and I'm going to do center horizontal and center vertical. And then I'm going to just click out in this area so nothing is selected. So that looks pretty good, but I think maybe I can go taller. So I am going to go back, click on it, and I'm going to come up the top, and I'll do the 4.75. And let's try that again to center. So I'm going to go to the align, horizontal, center, vertical. So in this case, that looks pretty good. So now what we want to do is we want to separate some of this to be foil and some of it to be cut. So it's all one piece right now. If we look over to the right, it's all one piece. So what we have to do, let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. Oh, went in too far. So what we have to do is there's no place in the design space where we can just delete pieces, but we can kind of hide them. So before we work on this, we want to make sure we have another one that's just like this in its original state. So while it's highlighted, I'm going to come way over to the right and duplicate. And I'm just going to set this one aside. That's our original. So then we're going to click back on this one, the one that's with the corners, and we're going to come down, way down to the bottom right where it says contour. And we're going to click on that. And this simply means you can hide pieces. So if you go down through, there's lots and lots of pieces. And if you look, the P, the middle of the P, the middle of the D, they're somewhere else in here. So this is probably the D here. So we don't want to go through and find all those little pieces, because what we're going to do is we're going to hide the happy and the Valentine's and the day and maybe this big star, and we're going to keep the rest to foil. So if we look at the top here, that's the banner. So we do want to save that. If we come down to hide all contours and click on it, it will hide everything except the first one we have. And that works perfect for us because we want this one as a foil. So now we're going to go ahead and come up to each section that we want to keep, and we're going to select it. Now you'll notice I'm looking at this line that's going across, and I want to save that. But if you notice as I come up with my cursor, do you notice I'm not on the line, but it's highlighted? I can go ahead and click it. So you'll notice that I'm not on the star. I just have to find out where it is, because sometimes if you're right on it, okay, I'm right on that one, it's okay, but sometimes if you're right on it, it's not selected. So you just have to, you'll get how it works when you work on it. So I think that we have all the pieces we want to foil. So it's all the little stars, this line going across, the outline of the banner, the heart at the bottom, and the lines I'm going to call them lines, on each side. Now, there's no apply or save or anything here. You just click on the X, and it shows you what you picked. Now, if it's not right, you just go back into contour again and fix it. If you miss one, it's no big deal. So we're going to take this whole group. We're going to come over to the top left where it says Basic Cut. And we're going to foil. And it doesn't really matter what color. That color is as good as any color. And because we can put on any foil we want to put on. We just want to have a difference in color that we can see between what's foiled and what is going to be cut. So we know we got our foil done. Now we want to do our cut. So we're going to come over to this design on the right, and I'm going to go back up and I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm going to just push it over on the other side, just in case I need the original, I'll have it. Now, just so you know, all three of these are the same. The one with the just foil, they're just hidden away, but they're still there. You could bring them all back anytime. So you didn't really delete them. They're still there. But we're going to treat it like we did delete them. So we're going to come over to this right-hand one. And remember, we want this one to be opposite of what the foil is. So we want to save all of the words in that big star. So we're going to come back down to the bottom, right, hit contour. And this time, we can't do hide all contours because we need more of them than last time. So we don't want to go down and try to find the pieces. Well, we don't want to in any way get rid of all of the letters. So we know we don't want the banner. I can click on that right there. So the banner is gone. And let's see, I can't move this hide contour over, but we can sneak and look right here what's going away. So we want to get rid of everything that we saved the last time. So the line, each star, and you can see even though I went over the top of them and clicked, they didn't go away. So I've got to pay attention. You can see when you're close up. You might not be able to see it on the camera. Let's see if I can show you on this one. Can you see how that star, let me do it with the big one. See how the big star gets dark lines around it? That's how you know you're selected on that. But we want to keep the big star because we want that to be a cutout. So then we're going to come down to the bottom, the heart, the line on the right, the line on the left. So now we'll just hit the X to close the window, and we have everything that we want to cut out. So I'm going to move this back over and align it. And now this time I'm going to show you again how we use the computer to align it. And this time it shouldn't work out like as well as you think it's gonna. So we're gonna highlight so that we want to have, okay, so it grabs, see how it over here on the right, it grabbed that basic cut. So I'm just gonna come out in this blank area and I'm gonna just click and it unselects everything. Now I'm going to select the basic cut with the letters. I'm going to hold down my control key on my keyboard and click on the foil. So you can see these two on the right are darker. The basic cut, we don't want that. We're just aligning the foil with the cut of the words. So now we're going to come back over to the left, to the top, align, and we're going to do center horizontal and center vertical. Okay, so now I'm going to click out over here. See how it's not lined up right? Because these words weren't necessarily lined up to the stars. So, because it wasn't meant to be pulled apart. So I'm just going to highlight on select the words again, and this time I'm going to move them myself, and I'm going to eyeball where this star is and how this Valentine looks. The star pretty much tells me where I need to be, especially if I come over to the left and I look at this one and I can see the distance. So I got to come up just a little bit so I can see the distance between this one on the design on the left and the one I'm working on as far as this, as this red star is. And if the red star is lined up, then everything else will be lined up. So I'm going to click over on the right. I can see it looks pretty good. I don't need this design on the left or the image on the left anymore, so I'm going to select it and hit delete. I'm going to take these two. Oh, it's going to select them all. Let's see if I can do it without. Oh, shoot. Okay, if you do that by mistake on your keyboard, and I use a PC, Control-Z will undo, or you can come up to the top. I'm way in the top left. There's the undo, redo buttons right there. Okay. I was trying to group those two together, so I'm going to use my Control key. So I'm going to click on the words. I'm going to click on the foil, and I just want to group them so that if I should move them, everybody moves together. Now, what we want to make sure when we send it to cut, that everything stays in the place it's supposed to. So we have to select everybody. So on the right, you can see everything is the darker gray, and we're going to come down to the bottom and hit attach. And it changed the color because the corners were black. So I'm going to grab, let's see, I'm going to detach because I want to grab let's see if I can grab it here. So on the right-hand side, I grab the basic cut words. I'm going to come to the top left, and I'm just going to pick red spine. And then I'm going to click on the bottom over here on the right, which selects the four corners, and I want those to be the same color. And I can pick right here at the top. So if I'm not sure what shade I picked, say I picked one of the blues and I wasn't sure, well, these three at the top tell you out of these colors, these are the three that are in the design. So I'm just going to click that red. Now, if I highlight everything, and on the right, you can see again, everything is in the darker gray. Now I can come down to the bottom right and attach. The reason I change it from the black, because when we go to make it, it puts the black on a black mat, and it's really hard to see. So it doesn't really matter what color these are. The red's all going to cut out, and the gold is the foil, whatever color you want to put in. So we're ready to go. We're going to go up to the top right, and we're going to click Make It. And we're going to be on our card mat and continue. Okay, so we're at our mat, and it's all on one mat because there aren't multiple colors to cut out, like vinyl, might have multiple colors. We're just cutting out and we're foiling. Excuse me. So we're going to come to the bottom right and hit continue. And first thing it's going to do is look for your Joy. If it doesn't find it, you probably don't have it plugged in. I do that myself because the Joy doesn't have an on and off switch. So when you want it to be off, you have to unplug it. So sometimes I forget myself to plug it back in. So we want to have insert cardstock. If you don't show it here, so these are my favorites, you're going to come to this browse all material, click on that. We're going to come right up to the top where the categories are, where it says, all categories, and in the search we're going to put insert card. I think you can just probably put insert. Oh, yeah, insert. Thought I spelled it wrong. Here it is here. So you can see how I have that gold star. That means I have it in my favorites. If I didn't, now you can't see where the star is, but if you put your cursor over, you see, see the star is just an outline. I want it to be in my favorites. So when you put it in your favorites, you don't have to select it. If I didn't put it in, let me uncheck it here. If I didn't have it in my favorites, I would have to select it and then come down here and do done. So I'm going to put it in my favorites, and I can just, or I can hit the done. But it picked it for me. So now it's telling me that my base material, I already told it, insert cardstock. So now number 2 is dark. So it wants the foil transfer tool put on. It wants me to go ahead and put the foil onto the material, and then it wants me to load the mat. And then below it says coming up, the next part will be the fine point blade. So I'm not going to have a go down at this bottom right until I've loaded the mat. The Joy doesn't know which tool I have in or any tool, and it has no idea whether I put the foil on or not, but it does know if I've loaded the mat. So until I load the mat, the go down here in the bottom right is not going to be, I can't click on it. So let's go ahead back to our machine. Okay, so let's get our foil on, and you can see the light's blinking because it's waiting for us to do something, and it's waiting for us to load the mat in. I'm just going to keep this up because I know it glares otherwise. So hopefully I'm in the area that I need. It doesn't go too far to the bottom. No, I don't think it does. Looking at the picture. So I have this is the tape that comes with the foil. And I'm going to do the top first, and part is on the foil, part is on the mat. Oh, got 2 of them that time. I guess when I put one back, it was on top of a little bit of the other. It's very sticky, but it's very light. So I'm going to stick onto the foil first, and then pull down so I make it as taut as possible. I still have some left from my, well, let's see if I can use it. Now wait, from my debacle in the last video, because I'm recording this right after. I'm on this side again. I'm going to put it just a little on the foil and pull it just a little bit. I'm just trying to keep any like wavy, I call them like air pockets, but if the foil is up too much, it won't work as well. I don't think it's exceptionally fussy that you have to get it perfect. Now, last time I did this, my little sides kept coming undone, so I think that I hadn't pressed the tape down well enough. And the lesson I learned the last time, make sure that you've got the little arrow. I had covered mine up, and I ended up doing it wrong way too, and it fed in just fine. Didn't work out real well because the card isn't equally placed on the mat. So make sure you've got that little arrow. And there's no buttons to push, so it's going to pull it in automatically. And I'm just going to, see, I'm always saying do your tool first. I almost forgot. I should have done my tool first. So the blue one is the foil tool. If you have one of the bigger Cricuts, like I have the Maker, the older Maker, it knows which tool is in. The Joy is very elementary, and for the price, it does a great job. But it doesn't know what's in there, and it doesn't know if nothing is in there. So it's not going to say to you, hey, you got the wrong tool in. So my advice that I need to take myself is the second you put this down to work, put the right tool in, whether it's the foil or a pen or whatever it may be, get started with the right tool. The software will prompt you to change it, so you don't have to wonder when to change it. It doesn't know what tool is in there. So I'm just going to switch to the software for a minute. So you can see now number 3 is on. So we've done what we needed to here. And again, you can read it to double check. Loaded is the foil transfer tool. It doesn't know it's the foil transfer tool. It just assumes when it told you to put it in that you listened to what it said. And then coming up is the fine point blade. And it will stop and tell you to put in the blade. So I'm just going to hit go. I thought I was going to hit go. And I'm going to come back to the machine. I seem to have, let's see if I can turn it so you don't get quite so much glare. Okay, I've hit the go. And I seem to only have this problem if I'm recording. So let me just stop the recording for a second so I can hit the go and it actually works. Okay, so I just unloaded it, hit the little unload button, and just reloaded it, and it seems to be fine. And I don't usually have an issue, not that I've used the Joy a lot, but in doing this recording, I seem to have it's a little laggy, and that was the first time I had that issue with the go button. So if you do have an issue, just do unload, and then you'll just reload, and you'll be fine. And I'm doing this at regular speed. Okay, so let me switch over to the screen so you can see. So it says, do not unload the mat, remove the foil, and add the fine point blade. So you noticed that it kicked out the mat as far out as it can go without unloading it. If you watch my video that I did the Valentine card, and again, I'll link it at the end of this video, I tried to run the foil where it called for the pen, and the card mat never came all the way out to get the foil off. So I'm just going to kind of pick it up by the tape. Trying to do this without getting in your way. And it is a bit tedious to get in fussy to get in under where the knife is. But you just take your time, and I'm just pulling it up slowly, and I'm just going to stick this here and take care of it afterwards. But can you see the foiling? Well, let me turn it. I'm trying to turn it so there we go. Now, I missed some foiling over here, right at this very edge, and I'm not going to worry about it, but I didn't have that piece of foil over quite far enough. I had it equal on both sides, but apparently my banner was a little more to the left. So I can always take my piece of foil, and I can see right where it went over where the tape was, and I can just maybe I can just hold this and just go down and press that down, but I think I'll just leave it. So remember, we're going to put our knife in. So again, I should put my knife in first, but I didn't want to in this case because I didn't want to lift the foil and get caught in the knife somehow. But we got our blinking light. And again, I showed you the screen that tells you what to do. So after you do what it tells you, then just go, okay, it told me to remove the foil. I did. It told me to put the knife in, double check. I did, before you hit go. I always do the double check because sometimes, oh yeah, you can see the foiling real good. So I just got that little area right there. So next time I may take the foil and cut it and put it long ways this way instead of long way that way. It's things we all learn along the way. I can take this gold pen and maybe, finish that line. Or I could put a little heart and glue it there. Or there's lots of ways. I learned there's lots of ways in sewing to hide or disguise anything you did wrong that's small, but not worth doing something all over again. So you can do the same way with cards. And again, I'm letting it go at its regular speed. So for those of you that, want to know how fast the Joy goes, it doesn't go as fast as the bigger machines, but that's to be expected considering the difference in price. I have to say this is my favorite machine to play with or work with because it sits on my shelf. I can take it right down. I have a little container for everything for it. So, when you want to do something without the hassle, if you can't, if you don't have everything out, a lot of us, don't have room for everything to be out. It's a nice little, it's fun little machine. Oh, sorry. That was me. And I got my insert ready to go. I got my fingerprints all over it. Make sure I got my little bucket out of the way. Sometimes in the bigger machines, it's the same way. Your cord is back here. Make sure the cord is out of the way of your mat going back and forth. So now if I switch back to the screen, don't pull this out because it's still held on to. So don't pull the mat. Oh, let me back up a little bit. Don't pull the mat out, yank it out because that can throw off the timing of the whole thing. So we're going to switch over to our screen, and right here it says complete. Now, if, for example, you wanted to, something didn't cut and you want to do it again, you got the rerun because you'd want to rerun it before you unload it. So I'm just going to lift my card a little bit. I haven't had any issue. So yeah, it cut fine, but you can lift whatever is on your mat a little bit to make sure it cuts before you hit the unload. And then it's going to take a second before it comes up, and it's going to say finish, and you can just hit finish. But let's go back to our card. Of course, the second I went back, it went ahead and did finish. So again, the blinking light's on, and that's because I haven't hit finish. So I'm going to go ahead on my screen and hit finish, and you'll see the light will stop blinking. Now that means it's done. So here we are. And I'm going to use my little spatula because I don't want to lift it so much that I'm curling the card. And it is pretty sticky. So we'll have to see. This is an experiment. So let's see how this experiment turns out. Oh, and I can see the problem. See the problem with the with the D. Whoop, with the D. So we're going to have to put that back in after we put the insert card. So it'll be actually on the insert part. So let me get the rest of these little pieces out. They're kind of hanging on the back. Okay, so we have all the little circles. And we shouldn't do it over the mat because then the pieces just fall down and then you got to pick them off again. These insert cards that come from Cricut, the ones I have, they're very textured. They're very nice. So sometimes they hang on a little bit. One guy. There we go. I'm going to make sure I've got all my pieces I need to save. So there we are. I'm going to go ahead and put the insert in. Make sure I do it so you can see. So we have it all back in. So I would take a little bit of glue. I don't have any right handy, but I'll show you what I would do. I'm going to pick off the middle of this D. I would just put a little glue on the back of my D, and I'd use a wet glue, and then just put it in. Let's see if I can hold it up so you can see. And see? It's right back in there. So I would just get my pieces. They're easy to see because they're all still right on the mat. So I just got to take the middle of the A, the E, whoops, upside down, and then the P and the A, and just to take just a tad of glue. So the easiest thing to do is a little piece of wax paper or something. Just put some glue down, and then take your little piece and just kind of set it, rub it on the top of your little glue puddle and just put it down. You don't need much, and then just put it down. You could use your tape runner. You just have to be careful when you put it down because it's going to stick, or you could use your tape runner and just a little bit of glue. But it's easy enough to put those pieces in. I just don't want to keep you longer as I glue pieces in. So if you give me a minute, I'll get the pieces in, and I'll come right back and show you the finished one. Okay, I did the letters, and I did some with the tape runner, and I'll show you in a minute. And then I did a couple with the glue, and I just put a little glue down so I could just tap some glue onto it. And I've got the P left to do. And I know it's probably a little hard to see. Let me just get them a little straighter. Yep. Because I have very shiny paper behind, even the tape runner didn't stick down. I could still move it around. So let's see, how can I turn this so There we go. That's a little better. So I got the P's in. If you look at the A, if you can get close up, I can see a little, and probably I'd be the only, you and I'd be the only ones that see it, but there's a little bit of glue there, but it does dry clear. And down on these, I did the tape. And what I did is, let me see if you can see, and I did, there's the little A and then the E and over. And all I did is I put the piece, I had it on my finger, and I brought it up to, because see the sticky back here, I brought it up to the glue tape and then just kind of ran it forward. So I'm still holding on to the piece that I want to glue in because it's so small. So let's say, for example, what have I got here? Well, I'm trying to grab onto a little piece here. So because I have letters left over. So let's just say it was this little. Let's just say it was this little piece that I was doing. I had it on my finger, and instead of running the tape, I ran my finger with the shape on it across the tape on the bottom. I would say, 6 1/2 dozen the others. I would say that if you have the little Xyron where you can do the little pieces and pull it through, they're pretty reasonably priced, $12, $15 I think they are. And you drop the piece in and it puts the glue behind. That would be the easiest way to do it. But I wanted to show you, you could use the glue. Again, I just had a little dollop here. I had it on sticky note. And just either you tap your finger on it and put it on the piece, or tap the little piece down. Just make sure you rub it around so it isn't like a big glob that comes out the sides. But there's our, see if I can turn it so you can see it. What's the best way to go here? There we go. There's our card. You can see the gold foil. There we go. You can see the gold foil. Looks very nice. So there's our Make It Yourself card. So just remember that you've got those 4 corners. Go into images to get them, not into projects. I made that mistake. I went into projects, and it brings up all the cards that are ready-made you can't customize. So go into images and then put in insert card, and you'll get lots of stuff in there. And we did see there were some cards in there that had centers in them, and probably be able to customize those. But if you want to do your own, that's sort of what we did. And where the foil is, if you don't have the foil tool, you could use the pens, because they have pens. The pens for the Joy are not the same pens as for the other machines. The Joy has its own setup. So I'm just trying to move it around so you can see. I kind of like that. I thought that was just going to be silver, but it's kind of all colors, isn't it, when it hits the light? So there's the card, and there's the. So this is the medium size. This is the large, and there's one smaller than this one. So that's the 3 size insert cards that you can buy in the packages. This particular one came with all this color, and they come with envelopes too. So you have the card, the envelope, and the insert. These were all the same color. And this one had different color cards and different color inserts. And once you have a package of inserts, you can look right on and see what the card size is. And then what size the insert is, and make your own if you want to. So I hope you enjoyed making a card, and I hope you get around to making one. I've got happy and day letters left over. I'll put them in I'm going to make a little container for odds and ends letters. So I got happy and day. The Valentine, I got pieces, but they're a little small. So There we go, little extra bonus. So thanks for joining me, and I hope you try out making some cards. See you soon.